Bernard Melvin Parker, you might know him, the man who played for Thanda Royal Zulu, worked his way up into playing abroad, came back, was playing for Bafana Bafana, and he came back and played for Kaizer Chiefs, won things for Kaizer Chiefs, and yet he says that the way that he left Kaizer Chiefs was shocking. And we're also going to talk about what Jablan Mendes said about Kaizer Chiefs and why what he's saying makes sense but is impractical. Hello and welcome to Kosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pelo, I am your host. This is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Amakusi Football Club. Bernard Parker. The man, the legend, the myth. We know him. I know a lot of you will say that I wanted Parker to leave. A lot of people wanted that. But I think we can all agree in one thing and one thing only. Bernard Parker is a Kaizer Chiefs legend. He is. In my books at least he is. By the way, I also want to hear what people think. Do you consider Bernard Parker as a Kaizer Chiefs legend? Comment on. With looking at what he did for Kaizer Chiefs, looking at how long he served Kaizer Chiefs, looking at with how much consistency he served Kaizer Chiefs, that's to me what you call a legend. Because there was never a scandal about Parker. There was never he snuck out and went to drink with friends or things like that. The other players who did that at Kaizer Chiefs, we still consider them club legends. And Parker had never had that record. Parker was always the guy that you see. He's the most disciplined in that group. Yet he says that when he was about to leave Kaizer Chiefs, in the season prior to him leaving, they said, you know what? Go to the holiday when the season ended. Go to the holiday, come back, tell us what you want to do. He comes back from the holiday, he tells them what he wants to do, and then they ghost him. He says they didn't say anything to him to a point that was like, okay, obviously these people are not renewing my contract, so I should basically find another team. Which is sad because a few months ago, Kaizer Chiefs released a statement about Kama Billiards and how they had been trying to contact him and he didn't respond to them, and that meant he was unprofessional and all of that stuff. Yet a season ago, they did the same thing to the club legend. And Bona, they're going to have the balls to go out and say Billiards is unprofessional, yet they themselves were unprofessional. It pisses me off in a way. More than that, I think it disappoints me because I would be angry if I was pissed off. It's disappointing. You can't have a man that you're gonna call a club legend and treat him like that. What are you gonna do to any other random player? You're obviously not going to treat them in a humane way, because if a player who served you for that long, as long as Parker served Kaizer Chiefs, and then you're just going to ghost him to a point where he reads it by himself, goes, okay, I'm no longer wanted here, so I should probably find another team. And yes, I will agree, Chiefs were trying to lower the average squad age, but the least you could do is communicate it to him. And I know some smart guy is going to say, oh, Panpilo, who says they didn't? Parker says they didn't. Parker himself, not a publication, not Latuma, no. Bernard Parker himself said that on Metro FM, that they didn't say anything to him. So I would understand if Parker had said that Chiefs called me and they told me that, hey, we are trying to lower our squad average age, so we cannot give you or offer you a new contract. Find another team. They did not do that. Instead, they just kept quiet and said nothing. It's unprofessional and it's actually disgusting if we're being honest. Because even another example with Eric Mathoho, usually when a player is retiring or leaving the club, they would give you like 30 minutes in a game, or you will start a game and then you'll get subbed off maybe around the 60th minute or 70th minute so that fans can clap for you while you're on your way out. We didn't do that with Mathoho. And yes, people are going to say, but Zwane was the one who's the coach. He's the one at fault because obviously Nfunu blame Zwane because Njalo. But remember the fact that the management, you are the same people who also say the management is meddling with the things that are done by the coach. Why can't we discuss that? Can you give Mathoho minutes in this last game? And I know people will say, Ompilo, but he hadn't played the entire season, so he was going to be rusty. Then we find a way of working around that. We find a way of working around how we can actually include Mathoho in that game. For example, you can put him on in the last 10 minutes. Well, in that case, Chiefs was already losing, which obviously made things more complicated. But even in the games prior to that, you could have introduced him and made him play some minutes so that we can give him a standing ovation on his way out. No, Chiefs didn't do that, which is like, what is this? Yes, I know they ended up doing that goodbye or whatever event that they did for him. But the point is, there are other things that you expect a team to do to show that we appreciate the player for what they did and all of that stuff. But all you get is just a Twitter post and Instagram or Facebook, whatever, saying goodbye, thank you, whatever. We go to the stadiums, we want to see these things and see players and say goodbye to the players ourselves or whatever. But no, they will not do that. Which means to me, Vele Chiefs cares more about players when they are coming in and when they are still assets to Kaizer Chiefs, and they do not actually care about the players when they leave the club. And we see this. Maybe now they will change, hopefully, because we've seen that they are now including the legends in these games that they're having, which is obviously good. And obviously, if they are bringing them in, then they can find roles within the club, people who understand the club, and then the Chiefs way can then be implemented because the legends understand the Chiefs way. And I think they are actually heading in the right direction, hopefully. And I'm glad that it seems like they have learned their lesson. So that's good. That's good on them. What's also good is for you to like the video and subscribe to the channel, follow, do the things that need to be done. Thank you so much. Jablan Mendu says that no coach who comes to Kaizer Chiefs should have his own philosophy because the club should have their own philosophy. Not doesn't say it like that. He says that they should play the club's philosophy, the Chiefs way. And we've been saying this, the Chiefs way. But what is the Chiefs way? What is the Chiefs way? Because no one has actually defined the Chiefs way. The last person who sort of kind of tried to define the Chiefs way was Atazwane, playing the ball with arrogance and dominating games and winning games. That was the last person who actually kind of defined that. So I guess that would be the thing that Chiefs wants to do. But here's the problem that I have with that, with Kaizer Chiefs. There is this situation whereby your sporting director, he might understand the kind of football that the team wants to play. Let's take, for example, a team like Tottenham. Tottenham Hotspurs in England are a team from the time of Mauricio Pochettino, even before him, that played high pressure, high intensity football, attacking football. And when Jose Mourinho came, as much as he was a winning coach, when he came, there was a switch and the fans were not happy with how he was playing. And that's a club that is, I wouldn't say well run, but they are run okay. And Conte was there and then also not playing the same kind of football. But Ange has come in and now he's playing the football that Spurs fans prefer. But it's easy to do that if you have a sporting director who has footballing knowledge, who understands what kind of football is wanted by that club, and also has ball knowledge, not just the fact that, oh, I know that Kaizer Chiefs is supposed to play fancy football or kasi flavor football, whatever. Because here's the thing, with all due respect, Kaizer Mtaung Jr., that's his father's team. He has every right to hold any position that is given. But with all due respect, I don't think he's qualified to be a sporting director. I do not think that. I think being in the board of directors of Kaizer Chiefs, voting on the decisions that have to be taken, running whatever that needs to be run, I think he's qualified to do that because, well, Timi Agub, that kind of qualifies him. Bobby Mtaung is a football manager at Kaizer Chiefs. Why dlala nini Bolu Bobby? And let's not talk about the fact that he's been around football his whole life. That does not qualify you to be a football manager, because being a football manager means you are the coach. So what is Bobby's role actually? Because in football, if you go and you look at you go to Google after watching this video, search Pep Guardiola. You know what they will say? They will say he's a Spanish football manager. If you go to Man City and check who the position, they will say he's the manager. Pep Guardiola. Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp is the manager. He's the football manager. Yet at Kaizer Chiefs, the football manager is Bobby Mtaung, the man who's never played football. Yes, there are people who have never played football who can coach. But Akaskome is a certificate sakek. So good why he got that position to be a football manager. And people are gonna tell me it's his father's position, it's his father's team, so he can do whatever he wants. Fine. But then don't cry when the team doesn't win anything, because if we're going to insist that people who are not qualified to be running the football side of the business are there running the football side of the business, so banenkinga. Bona mabefuna ukudayisa ama-chips benza imali, abadayisa ama-chips benza imali. But leave the football decisions to people who understand football. Ngoba zonke lezi zinto zama-philosophy mangathatha nje manje sixoxe no Kaizer Mtaung Jr. and put him in a room where there are sporting directors, will you understand what they're talking about? Because I see that most of us, when we think about sporting directors, we just think about people who buy players for the team. But it's more than that. They need to understand the philosophy and make sure that the coach and the coach is there. This is very important. This defeats me, because this is the most important thing. The coaches that you bring in, ezo zashintsha philosophy a team. Jabulani Mendu says he mustn't change the philosophy of a team. The coach will not be changing anything, because you cannot bring on a coach like Jose Mourinho and expect him to play like Pep Guardiola. You cannot do that. He's Jose Mourinho. He will play a 4-2-3-1. He is very conservative. He will sit back and catch you on counters. That's what he does. So the role of a sporting director, this is the kind of football we're playing, and know that coach coaches this kind of football, and that's why he can fit in our team. But no, Kaizer Chiefs sithi thina sifuna ibhola eli-attack-ayo silanda uNtseki, umuntu ongazi nokuthi liqalwa ngaphi ibhola eli-attack-ayo, engacreate my chance whatsoever. I will stand here or sit here and say I still believe that Atazwane is a better coach than Lifinseki. So kusho lokho, we created more chances with not as good players as we have this season, but we played better under Atazwane than we did with Nseki, considering the coaches, considering the players that we had. But Tina, sivele sathathu reverse in that thing. So that needs to be fixed. Before we talk about anything else, we need to fix who's running the footballing, who's making footballing decisions at the club, because you cannot make footballing decisions based on the marketing side of things of the club. Footballing decisions should be footballing decisions. What do you think about all of this? Let me know down on the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, equals al pelumoy.